Hello everyone! A lot of new things will be introduced in Phase 5. We're talking about a new raid, dungeon, mount, faction, and a lot of other stuff. And all of this I'll try to cover in this video. Alright, so a new location will be introduced. This takes place in the northern part of Eastern Kingdoms at Isle of quel'danas. On this isle, you will be able to find a quest hub. Here you'll be able to pick up a lot of new quests, and you will even be able to pick up daily quests. When you complete these quests, you will get a lot of reputation with the Shattered Sun. And this faction is the new faction in Phase 5. If you like to PvP, then you will even have to consider focusing on this faction. The reason for this is because as you get more reputation, you will also be able to buy a new head enchant. And this is mainly for PvP because of the resilience and stamina. At this vendor, you will also be able to buy rare weapons, new recipes for your professions, epic necks, and 2 epic tanking shields. The shields will look like this. You have one for protection warriors and one for protection paladins. As I mentioned, then there's also going to be epic necks that you can purchase. You need to be exalted to purchase these, and the effect that you will get depends if you have chosen Squires or Eldor, so the faction that you could choose in Shattered City. The Restoration neck has 2 different proc chances. If you have chosen Eldor, you have a chance to get Light Salvation. This increases your healing and spell damage for 10 seconds. If you have chosen Squires, you have a chance to proc Arcane Surge. This does a small additional healing for around 600 to 700. The Shattered Sun Pendant of Might also has 2 different proc chances. The one for Eldor increases your attack power by 200 for 10 seconds, and the one for Squires is Arcane Strike. This has a small chance to proc additional damage, around 333 to 367. As a spellcaster, you also have an option for a neck. As Eldor, you have a chance to proc the buff Light's Wrath, and Squires, you have a chance to proc Arcane Strike. Just like the previous neck, it does the same damage, around 333 to 367 damage. It seems like it can proc on pretty much everything, even damage over time, and it also has a chance to crit. The last neck has a chance to proc Light Sword as Eldor and Arcane Insight as Squires. You might also have noticed that this neck provides a decent amount of hit and expertise rating, so for melee DPS it might even be worth it to go for this one in case you like these stats. When you reach Exalted, you will also be able to buy this tabard, the Tabard of the Shattered Sun, and in my opinion it's really good looking. Before I move on to the next topic for Phase 5, then there's one thing that I'm really curious about. Are you planning to play Wrath of the Lich King? And if so, what are you planning to main as a character? Let me know this in a comment below the video. Alright, so on Isle of quel'danas, you will also be able to find a new dungeon. It's going to be located up here. But before you head into the dungeon, then remember to find this Draenei in the questing hub. He will give you a quest for Magisters to raise, and eventually when you do all the follow-ups, you will get an epic gem, but also access to heroic mode. One of the epic gems will give you 20 attack power, the other one 12 spell damage, and the last one 22 healing and 8 spell damage, and you will only be able to choose one of these. So in order to get access to heroic mode, you will have to do the final quest by killing the final boss. He has a chance to drop epic items, but also a rare pet. The pet is a phoenix and it looks like this. When you gain access to heroic mode, then he also has a small chance to drop a mount. It's going to be a Hawkstrider, and as Alliance you can also use this mount. The Hawkstrider is however not the only cool item you will be able to loot on heroic mode. You also have a chance to get the Orb of Zendora. When you use this, you transform into a Blood Elf for 5 minutes, with a 30 minutes cooldown. The cool thing about this item is that it's not a trinket, so you can use it whenever you would like to. Beside these 2 items, I would also like to highlight the 4 trinkets you can get from the second last boss on heroic mode. These are extremely useful. There's going to be something for healing, tanking, and even DPS. But yeah, beside a new dungeon and heroic, then there's also going to be a new raid. This is a 25-man raid, the last raid content in TBC, Sunwell Plateau. In this raid, you will find 6 different bosses. all of them dropping amazing loot and most of these items also being best in slot. If you're lucky, then you might even be able to acquire the legendary bow from Kil'jaeden, the final boss in this raid. Talking about loot, then you will also be able to finish your tier 6 set. But in case you don't need the items from Black Temple or Mount Hyjal, then you might still have a chance to acquire your 2 or 4 set bonus, simply because in Sunwell you will be able to loot bracers, boots, but also the build. If you're wondering where you exchange these tokens into tier 6 items, then you do this at the boat near the quest hub. A new material will also be introduced in phase 5, it's going to be the Sun mode, and this you can only loot from bosses and the trash monsters in Sunwell Plateau. But what is the Sun mode used for? Well, in case you get a healing item in Sunwell and you get a Sun mode, then you can exchange this into another item. In this case, I could for example exchange the healing plate legs with a Sun mode into the plate tanking legs. A Sun mode and the cloth healing legs can also be exchanged into spellcaster legs. So with a material like this, all the raid loot that you will be able to acquire inside this raid will also be useful. Remember that you will also be able to acquire Sun modes from the trash monsters, so as a guild you could always just reset and farm trash monsters. Another reason for this is because the Sun mode is a material that you will need in order to craft the new epic items that you can acquire from the different recipes inside Sunwell. You will be able to craft bind on pickup, but also bind on equip gear, so this you can for example sell on auction house and even trade to an alt. Some of these recipes will be bind on pickup, so you will have to be inside Sunwell in order to acquire these. Some of the plans, patterns and recipes you will also be able to find on the auction house, but you have to pay attention, you will make bind on pickup items, so these you will not be able to sell. However, some of these items will also be extremely useful, even in Wrath of the Lich King when you have to start clearing tier 7 content. Another amazing thing in phase 5 is that now you will be able to acquire a new schematic in order to make level 70 goggles. These are similar to Sunwell loot. The last thing I would like to highlight from Sunwell is going to be the study of advanced melting. This will teach you how to make the hardened corium. This is a material that you will need as a blacksmith in case you acquire some of the new patterns inside Sunwell. So you will need this material in order to craft the epic plate items. In case you would like to prepare before phase 5, then I recommend you to get corium bars and hardened adamantite bar, because as we get closer to phase 5, and especially in phase 5, then I expect these materials to also become a lot more expensive. The last PvP season in TBC will also begin. This is going to be Season 4, Brutal Gladiator. The way that I prepare is by farming honor and BG marks, so I can acquire the offset pieces a lot faster. You will also be able to buy epic gems in Shadwood City from this winter. Each gem will cost 15 badge of justice. Close to the gem window, you will be able to find this NPC. Here you will be able to buy epic items, and you will have to buy these items with badge of justice. I have already covered all the items that you can buy in a previous video, but I've still decided to highlight all the weapons that you will be able to buy, simply because these is a great way for you to catch up. If you would like to see all the cloth, leather, mail and plate items, then you can watch it in the other video, and I will leave a link to this in the description. But yeah, that's also about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. At least I'm really grateful for you watching all the way to this part. As always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Peace.